Hello, this is Natasha Hayes with Name That Classical Tune, where I am trying to help you to remember common classical themes by giving them amusing lyrics. And in this particular one, we will talk about the most famous violin concertos, which are probably those by Mendelssohn, Brahms, and Tchaikovsky. Mendelssohn Violin Concerto in E minor, Opus 64. Oh, to Felix a helix with curls on a toupee. The scientists of the day had not heard of DNA or of microwave ovens or even super glue. If Paul Hindemith had lived in such a simple time, he'd be melodic too. This is Brahms' Violin Concerto in D major. This is not the first theme, but it is the best known. This is very hard to sing. I will do my best, but hopefully it will give you the general impression. Johannes, why is your room such a mess? Clean it up right now, I guess, unless you're working on another violin success, said Brahms' mom. Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto in D major, Opus 35. At the Tsar's court, though all the noblemen were snobs, they say, no sweating about Tchaikovsky being gay. It worked out great, he would sublimate, and without a doubt music would pour out of his soul. So to give a little bit of information about each of these violin concertos, I'll start with the Mendelssohn. It was written in 1845 for a friend of Mendelssohn's, and it was actually his second violin concerto. The first one he actually wrote when he was 12 years old. I've never heard it. I have no idea if it's any good or not. Mendelssohn really disliked it when he would go to a concert and people would clap between movements, and I know you've heard people do that before when they're not supposed to. So in this particular case, he made sure that there wasn't enough time between the various movements for people to clap. The Brahms, it was his only violin concerto, and it was written for his violinist friend, Joseph Joachim, who also actually gave him a good bit of advice about the piece, which he didn't particularly follow. The concerto was immediately a big hit with the public. But you know how critics can be. One critic said that it was not a concerto for the violin, it was a concerto against the violin. But in fact, I think it's very beautiful. I completely agree with the audience. And the third one, the Tchaikovsky, was written in Geneva while he was recovering from a very unhappy marriage. And he wanted to dedicate it to a young man with whom he had a romantic relationship, but well, even now, but particularly in that day and age, he knew that that would cause some very malicious gossip. Um, in this particular situation as well, the reviews were mixed. And there was one Viennese critic who said, and I'll need to look at this because it's a somewhat lengthy and odd quote. He said, "The music brought us face to face with the revolting thought that music can exist which stinks in the air. But the public liked it very much and people continue to enjoy it."